In the early hush of dawn, there is a stillness that calls out, a sacred breath of calm that lingers before the world's busy hum begins its endless song. This is a moment beyond moments, a place of quiet that is deeply coveted by the soul. A place where quiet time with God becomes a sanctuary, a refuge, a harbor for every wandering heart. In these moments, before the stirrings of daily life awaken, there lies an invitation. Quiet but powerful, to pause, to breathe, to turn the heart toward the divine, and to let prayer become the gentle thread weaving peace through every fiber of the day. This peaceful morning prayer is not about perfect words or flawless rituals. It is the humble opening of a soul willing to connect, willing to lean into stillness, willing to acknowledge the profound beauty of simply being in the presence of the Holy. In a world that races forward with relentless speed, this quiet time becomes a sacred rebellion, a choice to step away from noise, to close the door to distraction, and to sit in the embrace of quiet where the only sound is the whisper of the soul meeting the eternal. Imagine waking up to the tender touch of dawn, light spilling gently across the floor, and within that light, the whisper of peace calling you forward. There is no demand here, no urgency to perform, only the quiet nudge to come and sit, to offer up the first breath of the day as a gift, and to receive in return a peace that cannot be measured. This is the heart of the quiet time, a mutual exchange where human fragility meets divine strength, where weariness finds rest, where fears find comfort, and where joy begins to grow. In the quiet of morning, prayer becomes less about asking and more about being. It is here that gratitude rises without effort, flowing from a heart that recognizes the miracle of another sunrise, another chance, another opportunity to live with purpose and love. Each whispered word, each silent thought offered up in prayer becomes part of a sacred conversation that stretches beyond time, connecting the finite with the infinite, the seen with the unseen, the known with the unknowable. There is a mystery to these quiet moments, a depth that words can scarcely describe. For in the stillness, clarity is born. Decisions that seem tangled begin to loosen their grip. Worries that felt heavy begin to lighten. Hopes that had dimmed begin to glow again. In this space, the soul is reminded of its true home, not in the things it can touch or measure, but in the sacred presence that holds all things together. A peaceful morning prayer is like planting seeds in the garden of the soul. Each moment of stillness, each breath of quiet, each word of prayer sinks deep into the soil of the heart, nurturing roots that will sustain through every storm. And though the world outside may press hard with its demands and expectations, the one who has spent time in the quiet will carry within a deep well of peace, an unshakable calm that rises up again and again. This quiet time is not a luxury, it is a necessity. For the soul, it is like water to the parched earth, like light to the shadowed path, like breath to the lungs. Without it, the spirit begins to wither, suffocated by the relentless noise of a world that never stops moving. But with it there is renewal, there is life, there is hope. The peaceful morning prayer is a gift not only to the one who prays, but to the world around them. For the one who begins the day in quiet communion carries that peace into every interaction, every decision, The ripples of that peace extend outward, touching lives in ways seen and unseen, bringing light into dark places, calm into chaos, hope into despair. In these coveted places of quiet time with God, the heart is reshaped, pride is softened into humility, anger is melted into compassion, fear is transformed into courage. Each moment spent in this sacred space is a moment of transformation, a moment of becoming, a moment of aligning more closely with the truth of who we are and the purpose for which we were created. The beauty of quiet time is that it requires nothing but willingness. There is no need for grand gestures or perfect conditions. The quiet can be found in a corner of a crowded room, in the stillness of a car before the engine starts, in the gentle hush of a walk through nature. Wherever the heart turns toward the sacred with intention, the quiet time begins, and in that moment the space becomes holy ground. The peaceful morning prayer is a reminder that we are not alone, that we are held in love, that we are guided by wisdom greater than our own. It is a grounding force, a centering practice, a way to recalibrate the heart toward what truly matters. In the face of uncertainty, it offers assurance. In the midst of confusion, it brings clarity. In the shadow of sorrow, it brings comfort. And so each morning becomes an opportunity, a chance to step into the quiet, to open the heart, to lift up the day in prayer, and to receive the gift of peace that surpasses understanding. It is a practice that shapes not only the moments of the day, but the essence of who we are becoming. For in these quiet times, we are reminded of our true identity, our deepest belonging, and our highest calling, The quiet time with God is the place where the soul finds its song, where the weary find rest, where the broken find healing, and where the hopeful find their dreams renewed. It is the place where silence speaks louder than words, where stillness becomes strength, where prayer becomes the bridge between heaven and earth. As the morning unfolds and the world awakens, the one who has spent time in quiet will rise with a heart anchored in peace, ready to face whatever comes with grace and courage. The quiet time may last only minutes, but its impact echoes through every hour, every step, every breath. And so the invitation remains open, always waiting, always welcoming. Come into the quiet, come into the peace, come into the sacred space where prayer becomes life, and life becomes prayer. Here in this coveted place of quiet time with God, all things are made new.